Good afternoon, this is Lynx. Let me make sure I get the picture here. Okay, I'm going to show you a quick how to do like a mini table kind of thing with Lenormand cards. So what you want to do, let's say someone's got a specific question, you don't want to do a big grand tableau, it's just too much for the situation or whatever it is. Let's say we got a woman here, right? So I'm going to take the woman out, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to see what's really in play in her life. So let's say maybe someone comes to you for a 15-minute reading or a small reading, and you don't have time to go through a big grand tableau, but you want to get a snapshot of what's active in her life. We're going to build on some concepts I did in previous videos about laying cards down to create the actual houses. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to do a 3x3, right? I'm going to have a 9 card spread. And then we're going to see where the woman is in it. So let's say she just comes to you for a basic reading and we want to see what areas are active in her life. She doesn't have a specific question, she just says. So then we got the first one, so it would be renewal, that's the lilies, and or sexuality. So that's active. The next one over would be the house, so that would be her home life. That's the snake. That would be the third one. So then we got this one down here. That's the bear, protection and or power. We got the child in the middle. We got birds, which would have to do with maybe worry, anxiousness, gossip, chatter, a lot of activity. The sun down on the bottom. Okay, so we're going over 3x3 here. And then we got partnership and or contracts. And we got the tower. Okay, so from what I'm looking at, it looks like the houses themselves go from sort of a state of protection and renewal to activity to a state of sort of limitation. So now we got the woman, right? So those are our houses. We have the first house, we got first line, first house we got the lily, and then we got the house, and then we got the snake. Next row down we got the bear, we got the child, we got the birds. Then on the bottom row we got the sun, the contract or the rings, and then the tower. So then what we're going to do is we need 9 cards, so this will be one of the 9 cards. We want to see where the woman is in this, okay? So where she ends up in it, beginning, middle, and end, will tell us where she is in this cycle, and will tell us what's coming or what's behind her or what she's in the middle of, depending upon where she ends up. So we're going to pull out 8 cards. We got our houses set up, now we're going to put 8 cards. With this will be 9 cards. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? We're going to take her, we'll put her in there, we're going to mix it up. And then we're going to deal them over these spots which have become our houses. We're going to be able to get to see what is going on with this woman. Okay, so now, if she ends up in the first column, which is the column going downward, then there's a middle column going downward, and then there's the other column going downward. So the middle column would sort of be the present, the column to the left would be the past, and the column to the right be the future. Where she ends up will show us where in this cycle she is, okay? So if she ends up dead in the middle, it'll mean she's in the middle with the past behind her. If she ends up in this one, it'll mean everything's in front of her. So if she ends up in the first column, it means everything's in front of her. If she ends up in the last column, it means that she's coming to the end of cycle. This stuff's behind her. So the first one is the star. Hope through renewal, then it would be. We got the whip. She's at the end of the cycle. She's ending up in the last column. So then we deal the other ones out. Okay. And then the middle. And then that. That. And then that. Okay, so we look at the first column then. So she's at the end of the cycle. So this is really, so she comes to you for a reading and you can say, hey, you're at the end of a cycle, or I see you're at the end of a cycle right now. This is what's been going on. This is what's weighing heavy on you. In this moment, when you've got a client who's everything's behind them, the trick is, how do you move them forward into a new cycle? Usually at this point I say, hey, this is the opportunity where you can make a new direction. You can go in a completely new direction based on what you've already experienced. If not, you're likely to repeat the pattern. is one of the ways that you can look at this. So I usually say, hey, looks like you're at the end of the cycle, this stuff's weighing heavily on you, and they might say, well, what's next? And you may say, well, how do you want to go about forming, shaping, creating your future? Then you can start to say, hey, what would give her the best outcome? So let's say she's in the last column here, so we can look back. So the first card was, in the first column was this combination. There was hope for a renewal. At the same time, you felt powerful about something that you was about some fears that you were leaving behind. Okay, so some fears came along, but you were feeling more powerful, optimistic, and looking to move forward. Okay, so all of those cards in the first column, you got the lily and the star, you got the bear, and I'm not crazy about the cross, but because it's on the bear, I might say, well, there was some fear there, but looks like what everything else is coming up with it. You were sort of facing your fears with a new sense of power or a renewed sense of power, and you were moving forward. So then the middle one, you got the house, and then you've got the whip. So in that particular case, I might say you might have been driving yourself around the home or driving yourself in your home life, around your kids that could be that they were feeling a new sense of excitement, wonder, and at a new crossroads, or it could be their kids. So it could be that your kids were leaving, and so you were finding yourself in a place in your home where you were sort of always in your own head, always on top of yourself because the kids were leaving. And then you felt like your marriage was suffering from it as well. So you're moving from a place where you were feeling optimistic and hopeful. The kids grow up, they're going to college now, and you're actually feeling the pressure of your marriage and the contract of you guys kind of facing each other now. Kids are gone, and you're like, okay, well, what's our contract now? We made a contract to raise the kids, to love each other, but now it's just us. Where are we at? So then the snake, woman's in the snake, so she's in a place right now where she's trying to figure things out. She also has a lot of activity relating to her beauty and a lot of worry relating to her beauty, feeling limitations of her health. So I would say this woman now is being faced with her own beauty, how she looks at herself, and her own health. So when the kids left and sort of went out, you were left with your husband, and you felt like it wasn't really what you wanted to be. It wasn't what it used to be. You didn't have the romance there that you wanted. You're actually looking at possibly going through a new beauty and health regime to change that. So now she's at the beginning of a new cycle. That's what we put her, and then you can start to move forward from that and say, hey, where would you like to go from there? Now, if she ended up at the beginning of the cycle, in the first column, you could say, hey, looks like this is where you're at. In the middle, you could say, hey, it looks like right now the kids are leaving home and you're actually going to be facing a new time in your life where your beauty, your health, how you treat yourself, your health regime, your beauty regime, your feelings of beauty and healthful youthfulness are coming into question right now, and you want to do something about it, you want to change it, depending upon where it ends up. So that's how you do it. You lay the cards out first to create the houses, you lay the next ones over, you mix the woman or the man in, whoever it is, and then you've got yourself a little tableau to actually tell what's really mostly active in an individual's life at that moment. And these are really good when someone comes to you, say, for a short reading, and they're like, look, I just want a short reading. Those of you who actually read it, like festivals or events or things like that, you maybe got 15 minutes at a time. You can do something like this, get fairly in depth with someone, and then they could say, hey, well, you know, what's it going to be like if I join a gym? And then you can go, okay, well, boom, boom. The confusion and worry that you were feeling about yourself starts to change, and you become more passionate about feeling good about yourself. And then she might say, well, what happens to my relationship? And then you go, this is key to an ending of what was in your relationship and a surprise of what's coming next. So you could say you could feel a new sense of renewed loyalty between you, or friendship between you, or you could say, hey, as you get better, you might want to interpret actually what it feels like is you become more concerned with yourself, you become more beautified, you become more excited, you spend more time with your friends, and that relationship starts to sort of end the way it was. So that's how you do it. if you have any questions about this, or if you want to see me do another example of it, put it in the things below. I'll do my best to, as always, to answer any questions you have. Hey, if you want a reading, give me a call or give me an email, conjurehope, CONJUREHOPE @gmail.com, or give me a call, 779-302-8009. That's my number. We can set up a reading. Hope this helps you. I am Lucky Links, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do.